Welcome. I've long been a fan of Dodge Chargers, so I thought I'd make one. Only mine is made of paper. I started by sketching up some templates, transferring those onto cardboard, and then I could cut everything out. Scoring and folding parts minimizes gluing and gives you a nice edge. Using a sharp tool, I etched in body lines, and I lightly bent the side panels to form the creases. By using thin pieces of masking tape, I could stitch the sides together along the contour lines. I designed the chassis so it could be folded up to have a box compartment which would house the interior and an open engine bay. Leftover punch boards from board games have a nice thick stock, so I used those to create the additional chassis parts. Next I folded up a box for the trunk compartment and added that to the chassis. After that I started making the wheels. Each wheel was created using multiple layers of cardboard to get the ideal depth. I found the closest sized round object to what I needed and used that to roll up the tire exteriors. Those were then sandwiched between donuts and bulked out. Then they were all sanded down into shape. And because tires aren't tires without treads, I made some of those. In order to get a soft edge for the seat cushions, I wrapped paper around cardboard and then added those onto the frame I had pre-created. By removing a layer of cardboard, you can neatly add depth to it. I did so for the top of the center console. By layering up cardboard, sanding it down and covering it with paper, I could create a nice soft gradient for the dashboard. I tried to replicate the look of the original door panels as much as possible. I created most of the engine parts off camera, just because there were so many and they were so fiddly and small to work with. But after that I could finally start assembling the engine. I find reaching these milestones in the build very rewarding, because you can finally start to see some things coming together. I was pretty happy with how this turned out in the end. I got onto the roof after that, but had a, failed first attempt and second attempt. But finally, I got something I was happy with. After that, I could attach the rear axle and the front steering wheel, and then all the parts were done. Doing a primer spray and a final sanding just helps to finish everything off a little bit better. Then I could add the last few details, and as a final part of the finishing, I mixed up water, toilet paper and PVA glue to create a paste which I used to fill in any remaining gaps. I added some last bits and then I could get on to the painting. After a lot of deliberation, I finally decided on a black and red colour scheme to go with the chrome. The paints used were a mixture of acrylic and enamel. After the painting was done, I could assemble individual parts. And then I could eventually start final assembly. I did a matte varnish in the interior parts to take away the sheen, and then I could fit everything in. Although I had test fitted things along the way, this ended up being a very tight squeeze. For extra detail, I added a wiring harness to the engine, and then I put some belts over the pulleys. This was a very tricky and fiddly process, but I think it was worthwhile in the end. I painted in the chrome trim around the windows, and then I could put the windows in themselves. For those that used plastic packaging, I cut out a paper template to test fit, and then used that to cut out the windows. It was a relief in the end that all the final parts seemed to fit into place and to work properly. And then I added some more detail into the engine bay because, well, I just couldn't help myself. After that, I could put the last pieces together for the body, and we were just about there. The body was a little bit tricky to get over the chassis, but finally it slid nicely into place. And with the final extra details, that was that.